Welcome to another edition of Vibrant Living. I'm Darrel Dickeson, board member of the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, and today we have the privilege of speaking via a Zoom contact with Mayra Colazo, who is the executive director of the Central Washington Disability Resources. So welcome, Mayra. Would you like to just tell us a little bit about what is Central Washington Disability Resources and what do you do?
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. So Central Washington Disability Resources has been open since 1981. We provide services for individuals with self-identified disabilities, all ages, all types of disabilities. We have our core services. So just depending what individuals kind of services need, we base it out of that. We do a lot of information and referrals, and we provide services in Kittitas County, Yakima, Chelan, Douglas, and Grant. And ultimately, our mission is to empower the inclusion and the wellness of all persons with disabilities through advocacy, community education, peer mentoring, skill development, so that they may be as independent and can be able to participate in all areas of life.
Great. So you covered a lot of material there. Let's break it down a little bit. I believe you said something initially about self-identified.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So all it means is we ask the individual, do you have a self-identified disability? And if they say yes, that's all we need. We don't ask for any sort of medical documentation or anything. As long as the individual says yes, then they're eligible for services.
Okay. And you said also that you cover 4 counties, and yet your office, as I understand, is in Ellensburg. So do you have people out in the field, or how do you cover all the 4 counties?
So we do 5 counties. Our main office is here in Kittitas County, and we have a independent living specialist and outreach coordinator that is in charge of going to other counties and providing direct services in those locations.
So how do people get in touch with you? What's the best way to contact you?
The best way is through our phone, which is 509-962-9620. You call in, and then we will put you on our waiting list, and then a independent living specialist will give you a call back.
Okay. And do you have, let's see, how does a person qualify? You said that all they have to do is self-identify. Is there a fee involved, or what kind of a process do people use to qualify and receive your services?
So all of our services are completely free. We don't ask for legal status or anything. Our only question is that they self-identify with a disability and that they live within our 5 county service areas.
Okay. Now, disabilities, that's a kind of a broad subject. Can you kind of define what some of the different kinds of disabilities are?
Yeah, so all we really ask is, do you have a mental? Do you have a cognitive? Is it physical? So whatever the individual discloses to us, that's what we write down. And if they want to share further information, such as, they have PTSD or depression, anxiety, whatever their disability is, we'll go with it.
Okay, and so again, going back to self-identifying, that I assume that means they don't have to get a doctor's referral or anything like that. They just say, I feel like I'm disabled in such and such a way, and then you guys get to work on providing the appropriate service if possible.
Definitely, yeah. So sometimes the way that I like to explain it is, if you have a condition that creates barriers on your everyday living, that can be a disability. If you self-identify with it. A lot of what we do as well is we help individuals apply for SSI benefits, SSDI, and things like that. And so obviously, before they're eligible, they have different barriers to independence, and that's what we're helping them advocate to be able to get these benefits.
Great. So again, I met you, I don't know, a couple months ago, I think, on a Zoom call that was, if I recall correctly, the Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has what they call a senior network monthly call, and I believe I heard your presentation there for the first time. I was not aware of your services at all, so I'm delighted that you can get this word out to people. Disabilities, what I seem to recall is you had a slide in your presentation that said that most of your individuals served were like 29 to 59, I believe, but then the next group was 60 and older. So tell us a little bit more about, this program obviously is geared more toward an older viewing audience. Tell us a little bit more about what older people that might be interested or are eligible for services that they didn't even know about.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, we do a report, end of the year report, and so we analyze the data based on all the individuals that we provided assistance to see what ages and different counties. So for individuals that are over 50, we provide a lot of advocacy. So sometimes they move into an apartment that it's not fully accessible. And so we're able to help them with that, as well as, learning how to do budgets. They get their income and then they're struggling with paying bills, finding additional resources to help them, learning to use transportation, going from point A to point B. And so with our services, it really varies what the individual needs, to the services that we're able to provide.
Okay. And so when you mention transportation, I'm sure you're aware that we have Link here in the Wenatchee area, and they also have a very robust training program to teach people. How do you work together with agencies like Link and others that might be providing services that disability would be interested in, people with disabilities would be interested in?
Yeah, so with Chelan and Douglas counties, we work a lot with Link Transit. So since there is a service provide in that area, we're able to refer individuals over to Link just because they have a specific service for that, and we don't want to overstep somebody else. So we're able to work with them, and if they need additional help or anything, we can have our outreach coordinator talk to them and kind of work together, to make sure that the individuals' services are provided to the full of our capability.
Great. And I believe you said earlier that your services are free.
Yes.
So how are you funded?
So we are federal and state funded. So we are a Center for Independent Living. I'm not sure if you're familiar with them. There are currently 4 centers here in Washington State. There are over 350 in the whole United States. And so it's a whole network of different centers run by people with disabilities for people with disabilities. And so 51% of more of the staff have to have disabilities as well as our board.
Wow. That's really fantastic, because if a person is disabled and they can still help someone else that's disabled, that's got to be very rewarding, for everybody.
Yeah. And so that's where one of our core services, which is peer support and peer mentoring, comes in. So we understand the struggles that other people might not understand. And so we're able to relate to our consumers, to share personal experiences. Hey, I went through this, I can help you. And if maybe that specific staff doesn't, then we have other staff that can go in and help.
Great. Seems like I recall something too about transitioning from a nursing home back to home. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yes, so that's actually another core service, which is transitioning, and it could be both for youth and adults. So our goal is that if there's an individual that can live independently but just needs additional resources and help, that they should be able to live independently at their choice of home. And so that's where we can come in as advocates and making sure that they have all the information and the right resources. Right now with COVID, we received additional funding. So we created a program where we're hoping to transition at least 5 individuals out of nursing homes into their whatever community they want to live in. And with this CARES funding, we can actually pay for a lot of things, any accommodations, modifications to the apartment or home, rent, utilities, kind of anything that they might need to get back into being independent.
Wow, that's fantastic. And again, like I assume other people didn't know about what you do, just like I didn't know what you do. So thank you for explaining that. What about activities? It seemed like there were some activities or something too that you periodically do.
Yes. So most of our activities are here in Kittitas County, but because of COVID, we started kind of utilizing Zoom and kind of exploring that area. So Dan Witkowski is our recreation, health and wellness staff member. He is doing some cooking classes online, and so it's very, very basic food the individuals can make at home to be more independent. He's doing a skill building class. So every week it's a different kind of activity that he does to teach them skills that they can utilize on their own. And then we are doing a music class right now. Just because of COVID, everybody's been so isolated, and we were just kind of thinking of how to create more activities to kind of have everybody socialize. And so we purchased different music equipment that we can loan out. And so if individuals in, Chelan or Douglas are interested, we can send them the equipment that they need, and then they can join via Zoom.
Wow. Sounds like you do a lot of things similar to what we do at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. It's music and trips and cooking and that kind of thing. Actually, we don't do the cooking. We do the cooking for you. So, gosh, I'm just very impressed with the services. And I know that one of the main issues or needs for older people is loneliness. Do you do anything in that area at all? And I know this COVID thing has really exacerbated that issue too. People being isolated and not communicating the way they normally do. Do you have anything along those lines?
So at the beginning of COVID, we wanted to kind of start a kind of a support group just for individuals to kind of join and talk, just because they couldn't leave their home. And with our CARES funding, we could actually help individuals that didn't have Wi-Fi or didn't have a tablet. We could get them Wi-Fi set up. We can send them a tablet, teach them how to use Zoom to get into those activities and participate, and just, have that time to share their experiences or just talk in general, meet other people from other areas. So that's kind of what our thought was. It wasn't very successful. We didn't have a lot of individuals that seem interested in participating. And I think part of it is because it's hard to reach smaller towns,
More rural.
Yes. And so that's where I try my hardest to have myself or the staff joining committees such as the Senior Network or interagency in that area to share the resources that we have, and in hopes that those get shared with the other staff, and that people are calling to utilize our services, because that's why we're here.
Very great. So do you have anything else that you'd like to cover that we haven't talked about in terms of what you do?
I guess I wanted to talk a little bit more about our CARES funding right now, just because that's a big thing going on, and I know it has impacted a lot of individuals, all different ages. So with our CARES funding, they have, like all our other services, they have to have a self-diagnosed disability and be impacted financially by the COVID-19 pandemic. If somebody is impacted, we can provide different assistance, such as we can pay for their rent, we can pay their utilities, we can set them up with Wi-Fi or pay their Wi-Fi bill, their phone. Right now, a lot that we're doing is food orders. And so if there's an individual that's consider high risk to go to the store, we can make a food order and have it delivered at their home. And so the list keeps going on. We can help with medical bills related to COVID-19. So just anything that they might need, it's worth giving us a call and asking. If we don't provide that service, we have a huge list of different resources that might. And so we always want to make sure that everybody gets, finds all the resources that are available.
Terrific information. And so tell us again, how can people get in touch with you?
They can give us a call at 509-962-9620.
All right. And do you have a website?
Yes, it's mycwdr.org. We also post a lot on our Facebook. So if anybody wants to go and follow us on our Facebook, we share our activities calendars and any updates right now. Everything's going through Facebook.
Great. So is your Facebook under Central Washington Disability Resources?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Mayra, for your time and sharing this very valuable information to many citizens of all ages that might have any kind of disability that needs some help.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for what you do.